Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gills, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee.
You sure? It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee?
I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it.
Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I look like Trucker Heath today. Check this out. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to my home. Welcome to the office, and welcome to the morning grind. Let's see, lots of people already I see in the chat this morning. Hey, good morning, Better with Bacon, who says that love me some Dragonbanes. That's what we're going to look at. I've got the digital copy of this too, if we want to go and take a look at this, the rules in more detail on the screen. But at the moment, I've got the actual physical box set right here. So I've got Dragonbane right here. So we're going to open it up, then do an unboxing and just see what's inside from the physical perspective, and then we'll see whether or not we take a look at some rules. So good morning, BGD. We've got Stray as well. Great to see you this morning, Stray. Good morning. Let's see. Mike. Yeah, Mike is interested here in learning about Dragonbane. So good morning, Mike. And Dave, good morning, everybody. So yes, I've got water this morning. Road Deer Games. Hey, good morning. Great to see you. Road Deer Games says just catching us live, or finally catching you live. Good morning. Good morning. Great to have you. Here's to you. Yes, Mike was talking about taking a sip for everyone. They might be new to the channel. So here's to you, Roe Deer, for first time in the comments while we're live. Let's see. So what is going on? Well, I had really hoped to have been able to make today's show looking at the books for the Cultist Kickstarter. I thought they were coming in, but they're still on the way. I thought they were arriving yesterday. I did have a lot of stuff arrive yesterday. I've got a box that's sitting over there, which is a large box, which has all of the Cultist shirts in it that are that have already been for people who've already been through the pledge manager and let me know what shirt design they wanted and what size they wanted. I ordered all of those a while back ago, and so they showed up today and they are sitting in the office over there. I have not opened up that box yet. I'm going to take it into the room that I've been cleaning out to become kind of a shipping room, because we've already seen those shirts. We already know what they look like because I ordered proofs before. So I'll check them out, obviously, when I open it up and start stocking it, so that I'll stocking it for shipping probably later this afternoon. But we've already taken a look at what they actually look like. So so those are here. So that's big. I mean, as long as the books check out, then we will be good to go. Ordinarily, I would say, okay, then maybe we'll look at them on Sunday on the morning grind. I'll check them out, of course, as soon as I get them. And if they look good, then I'm going to approve them, and we can order those and then fulfill the Kickstarter. But I'm not going to be here on Sunday. I wasn't here last Sunday. I feel like all of a sudden we're not the Sunday show hasn't happened. But this Sunday there is a 5K race and a pumpkin patch festival with a historic train that I always go and work. And so there's a lot that's going on this Sunday, and the 5K race is in the morning. So I'm going to be doing the 5K race. I'm not running the 5K race. I'll be working the 5K race, and then the Pumpkin Patch Festival with the historic train ride and all of that. So I will not be here this Sunday for the morning grind, which means I might, we'll just have to see, do an evening stream or something. Because if those come in, like, let everybody know, put it out on the Kickstarter updates, the email, all of that, and then just do like an evening stream, like a wind down stream or something, to check them out and let everybody know. So we might do that. I don't know. But what came instead of the books, I was like, there's another box that's coming in that came yesterday. Well, it's what I'm wearing. That's why I'm wearing this. I also desperately need a haircut, but I also just got this hat in. So the hat is part of the new stuff that I've been putting out. I have been experimenting. Oh, I meant to bring this up. Let me do this. I have been experimenting, and you may have seen this if you were on the email list, with some different print-on-demand services for the Ravenkeep store. Let me share screen over here. So I think I mentioned that I've been trying to get the Ravenkeep store operational at ravenkeep.net. I'll put the link in here. This is ravenkeep.net right there. I still got to get my my banner fixed. I haven't worked on that yet, but I do. It was probably white the last time you saw it. So I did come up with a better theme to try to make this make the Ravenkeep store look better as far as the aesthetics. But I want to be able to make some of these shirts that we have for Kickstarter available. And the company that I used for these shirts that are over here are not the ones that are going to the store, because I didn't think about that until later. That I was like, hey, do you have like Shopify integration? I didn't think about that till later. So I'm still going to be doing a few other things. Oh, but by the way, that's another thing I've got is if you ordered one of the mugs, they're shipped up, they're packed up right here. So these are ready to go to the grocery store, to the post office down there. So I've got all of those packed up. Those are ready to ship. So there's a lot going on over here. But I've been experimenting with different print-on-demand services, so that later I'll be able to take the shirts from the Kickstarter and put them on the website, because I'm not going to be able to stock like a whole bunch of different shirts and a whole bunch of different sizes and all of that. And so that's just not going to be able to happen. But hey, they could happen print on demand if the quality is good enough. So I've been experimenting with that and seeing what kind of services that can go through Shopify are acceptable for print on demand. And so I did take the Witch's Brew logo as an experiment, and I put it on a bunch of different women's clothing here. Now, the Witch's Brew unisex shirt is still on the Kickstarter. So if then, which has late pledges open at the moment. So if you late pledge there, the Kickstarter the unisex t-shirt, that's still the only place you can get that. But I did some experimentation here by putting this on, like this is the pullover French terry hoodie. Okay, the cropped fleece hoodie, featherweight French terry hoodie. Ladies long sleeve baby tee over here. So I just want to know how it goes. And they got the hat here, the Witch's Brew hat, as well. I also, so as one particular test here, I did this hat right here, which is actually a hat that I have wanted for a while. I'm not really personally a huge hat guy. I don't wear hats quite a lot. But I for a long time wanted to do a hat based on this right here. I'll solo me for a second. There we go. This hat right here is the original prop from the Cultist season 1, where Mike has started Cultist Lawn Care, and he is wearing this in I believe 2 scenes. So briefly. So the Cultist coffee, or the Cultist Lawn Care hat. And so I just freehanded this on the prop and then painted this. This is in fabric paint right here. And so I wanted to see if I could put that design on a hat. And so this is the secret product I was talking about. So this just came in. So you can see it's still got like the tags on it and stuff. But this is the Cultist Lawn Care hat. So it printed, and it printed well. The issue that I've had with the hats, which I didn't anticipate, is that the print area on a hat is smaller than the print area where I freehanded, the Cultist Lawn Care on there. So, but hey, I think it's kind of cool. So, that's an actual product, and the hat is actually really nice too. This is a really good hat. It's got this like leather strap in the back for adjustments and things like that. So that's a pretty cool hat. So that came in, and I really like the quality. I like the quality. So that is at least approved. So I'll probably put this up on the Raven Keep store. So fun stuff. So that's what's happening there. Let me unsolo that. So Jason says, "Wait a minute, is that a goatee?" Yes. So I think that Sable called this a Van Dyke, since it's the mustache and the goatee here. But yes, I've been experimenting with this for a little while. So yes, good to see you, Jason. There's been a lot. Better with Bacon says, will they come in bigger sizes? The ladies? I think that this, I did not put any size on there. Let's see, like here's this right here. Size. Okay, like this one, this featherweight French tee, like if it had a size available, I put it up there. I didn't not put something up there. So like this one says it goes up to 4X. What about, okay, this is the women's graphic tee. So this is, especially if you're doing like, women's size, women's styles versus men's styles. That's why I did the unisex. I just did the unisex shirts for the Kickstarter. But this also allows me to do more of these. Like, what sizes are available here? Well, this one goes up to 2X. So that one's 2X. So I guess I didn't really check that. That one just goes up to large. So I guess they go up to different sizes based on what. Okay, the hoodie, this one also goes up to 4X. I guess because it's intended to be baggier, so they make it larger. So I guess that's going to be kind of a case-by-case basis. If you go down here, and I did put Cultist Lawn Care tee. Oh, so there it is. I gotta fix its background. So this has been a lot of work, but I've been trying to work on these. So the Cultist Lawn Care hat, that's what I'm wearing right here. So that one worked. And then so here's like, what is this size right here? That goes up to 2X. So I've got what they've got. But I did also put the ornaments. I put them on Christmas ornaments. So we got the Witch's Brew Christmas ornament, the Cultist Coffee Christmas ornament, And this was another design that we did a long time ago that I had forgotten about, which is the winter solstice themed. And so I decided, hey, let's go ahead and put that on a Christmas ornament as well. So I got the winter solstice morning potion Christmas ornament. So I've been trying to get stuff up and get the Raven Keep store actually kind of operational and stuff. Stray says that looks nice. Thank you. There's been a lot going on, Jason. Let's see. I want a tee with Bacon's beard printed. Yeah, I know James Bacon just need like beard merch. Stray said he'd rock the cultist lawn care hat. So anyway, I'm experimenting with that. And it seems like yeah, like if I were to take shirts to like a convention or something like that, Jason says unisex is the way to go with t-shirts because you're already having to stock a whole bunch of different sizes. So if I were to take like shirts to a convention or something like that, then that would have to be like pre-printed unisex tees and different. I don't know. It was probably information online about, hey, if you're at a convention with shirts, like what sizes do you stock or something like that. I was wondering what the bears were. So the beard will come in November. Okay, so that's going on. So I really hope that the books will be here and then we'll be able to move on. But yeah, so things are boxed up, ready to ship, mugs ready to ship. Stuff's been going on the website. So I'm excited about that. Hey, good morning, Andrew. We were just saying this is one of the new cultist items right here. Okay, so let's go over and let's do our sip, and then let's open up Dragonbane right here. So okay, let's take two deep breaths, deep inhales, complete exhales, and then take a sip of our favorite beverage this morning. So let's breathe. Here we go. And sip. All right, I'm just drinking water this morning. I'm looking Christmassy, I guess, because I'm wearing one of the old Hail the Black Goat of the Woods shirts. The new ones, I like the new ones a lot better. The new design's much better. But wearing an old black goat shirt and old black goat and a green hat. Okay, let's go over here and let's bring up the auxiliary camera. And then I have to figure out how to get the auxiliary camera looking right because it has stopped our ability to do that. There we go. All right. So, Dragonbane. Oh, Jason says that I've moved or that he's moved to Central Time. So you're on an hour later than you used to be. But that's my time. I'm in Central, so I broadcast in Central Time. Okay, so here we go. Dragonbane by Free League. Now we like Free League. Free League has been doing great stuff. It seems like every time we open up, especially from the production quality perspective, I mean the games too, but also from the production quality perspective, we've been fans of Free League. So let's check this out. And this is the one with the duck. So on the back, the duck guys, I'm sure we'll figure out what their name is. We've got the duck guys on the back. It says, in the oldest times, the world was ruled by dragons and demons. They were primordial forces through which the world and its primeval matter was formed. They were opposing principles that made the world complete. Law and order versus chaos and madness. Dragons versus demons. So it says, Dragonbane is a classic fantasy tabletop role-playing game full of magic, mystery, and adventure. It is designed from the ground up to facilitate fast and furious play with very little prep time and adventures that are a breeze to run. Dragonbane is a game with room for laughs at the table while still offering brutal challenges for adventures. This boxed set includes a rule book with fast and effective D20-based game rules for character creation, skills, combat, magic, and travel. Adventurer's book with 11 complete adventures to be played separately or tied together in the epic Secret of the Dragon Emperor campaign. The booklet Alone in Deepfall Breach, letting you play Dragonbane solo. A huge full-color map of the Misty Vale, illustrated playing cards for adventures, treasures, and more. 10 transparent polyhedral dice, including 2 custom D20s, 5 pre-generated characters, 5 blank character sheets, cardboard standees for characters and monsters, and a double-sided playmat. This is kind of, to me, the classic size of the of starter boxes. Now, Nimble was smaller. Remember, Nimble was the digest size. This one is more normal size. Normal size is in what used to come, I think, of because of AD&D. So here is our advanced. It looks to me a lot like Darkwing Duck. It sure does. I watched Darkwing. I watched Darkwing Duck actually, but what did I? Actually, the thing that I was thinking of was not Darkwing. Although I did watch Darkwing Duck. What was the duck that was the vampire? Oh, I looked this up a few months ago. There was a duck who was a vampire, but he didn't like blood. And he had the butler that was always trying to get him to be more vampire-like. Somebody's going to know that in the chat. That's gonna bother me because I used to, and it had a catchy tune too for this. So yeah, this is the same size as like the intro to Dungeons. Count Duckula. That's it. Mike says it was Count Duckula. That's kind of what Count Duckula is. Kind of what that reminds me of. It's a bit harder core than Count Duckula, but yes. So this is. It's almost exactly. It looks like this is ever so slightly larger right here. But it almost looks like they do what I would say you would do if you were trying to make one. It's like, hey, take an existing size and box and make that. So to me, this is very classic starter box size. And I don't have my giant knife. Let's see what's inside. Hey, Michael. Welcome. Okay, Mirth and Mayhem role-playing game. This is a solid box. Games catalog. Okay, across all worlds right here. Cards in shrink wrap. Okay, desiccant. It said we get a set of dice, but it has custom D20s. Let's see what's up with the D20s. Oh, yep. So it looks like it looks like we've got a symbol for 1 and 0. We've got 2 symbols on here. See if I can get it to focus. Should focus. Come on. But we got 2 symbols. Kind of looks like ram's horns, ram with horns. And then on the back, we've got kind of something that looks like or on the other side, we got something that kind of looks like a phoenix rising here. So it looks like we've got custom 1 and 0s. At least that's what it looks like to me. Stand-ups, so that's the bases for the standees. And then we've got a Dragonbane. This is us getting started. Okay, so this is a great place to start. Okay, it's just one side. So it says Dragonbane. Welcome to Dragonbane. This is your first, if this is your first tabletop adventure game, congratulations. Role-playing is a unique form of gaming that combines dice rolling with storytelling. This game gives you a set of rules and lets you create your own fantastical stories with your friends. For advice, tools, and inspiration, please visit our website, freeleaguepublishing.com. There you can find a forum dedicated to Dragonbane and tips for playing Dragonbane online using your computer. Getting started. Adventure awaits in the world of Dragonbane. All you need to do is get started. To get started is the following. 1, decide who will be the game master. If you have just opened this box, you are the first one reading it, that's probably you. 2, let each player create a player character using the rules in Chapter 2 of the rulebook, or pick one of the pre-generated characters included in the box set. 3, as game master, familiarize yourself with the opening and read the rulebook. With the rule book, and read the introduction and the opening scene in the adventure book, and then let the game begin. All right. Softback books in here. Okay, so Dragonbane Rules, that's the first book. Okay. We've got Dragonbane Adventures. Dragonbane Adventures right here. Alone in Deepfall Breach, a solo dungeon delving campaign for Dragonbane. You know, it's been a while since we've done... Oh, no, I just touched the microphone. Hopefully it doesn't go out. Looks like we're good. It's been a while since we've done a solo adventure. So that's a possibility. This looks like our full color map right here. There we go. That looks like, okay, a grid sheet for combat. This looks like our characters, our pre-generated characters. So Baston Bloodjaw, you have come from the northern wasteland in search of work, joy, and the finer things in life. It's like a wolf guy. Tired of your people's tribal feuds, you dreamed of something bigger and traveled south. There you worked as a mercenary, gladiator, caravan escort, and guardsman. Before banding together with a company of adventurers, you are now on your way to the Misty Vale, enticed by rumors of demons, monsters, and mighty foes. Chrysanna the Bold. Growing up in a city in the West, you were always coming up with wild ideas and daring your friends to take ever greater risks in the alleys. You became an adept pickpocket and later started burglarizing luxurious mansions. You were caught and thrown in prison, but escaped shortly thereafter. Now you keep clear of the city, always looking for new challenges and experiences together with a party of adventurers. You're currently on your way to the Misty Vale, which is said to offer plenty of both. Okay, good. We got a the sheets that we'll look at and see what kind of gameplay it is. The Candor of Half Bay. So here's our duck guy. You are the youngest son of the Baron of Half Bay, who resides at his seat of power many days' travel to the east. Knowing that the title will pass to your older but lesser brother, you searched your soul and decided to forge your own path. You take great pride in your name and honor, and accept missions that help the weak and punish the wicked. Now you have joined a company of adventurers drawn by rumors of treasure into the Misty Vale. Are we sure that we have never looked at this before? Did we look at it in digital form? Maybe I just recognized this character here, because obviously we haven't opened up this because it was still in shrink wrap. Andrew says that for other solo types, I just started the Alone Against the Fear book game. I've never played 4 Against Darkness, but it uses that mechanism. I don't know that. Alone Against Fear? Is that like a solo role-playing series? No, not alone as in like a financial transaction. Alone Against Fear. A solo horror role-playing game where you explore, a solo horror game where you explore monster-invaded towns, fight monsters, learn skills, and manage resources close to the 7 gates. Oh, okay. I have not heard that one. So it was good. Yeah, maybe haven't. Maybe I just recognize this because obviously we haven't opened this book yet. I was just trying to remember if I remembered, or trying to think if I remembered these abilities or something like that. So it says like what I've got over here is like ill-tempered, willpower points 3. Mallards tend to have a choleric, choleric, choleric temper. You can activate this ability no action when making a skill roll and get a boon to the roll. You also become angry if you are not already. This ability cannot be used for rolls against int or int-based checks. Webbed feet, willpower points. As a mallard, you get a boon to all swimming rolls. You always move at full speed in or underwater. Guardian, willpower points 2. You do not hesitate to take a hit to protect your friends. If you and another player are both within 2 meters of the same enemy and the enemy tries to attack the other character, you can activate this ability to force the enemy to attack you instead. Using this ability can be done out of turn, and it does not count as an action. Orla Moonsilver. Was that which one was that? Was that Darkwing? That was Darkwing. You grew up in the tropical forests of the South, always in search of adventures, but also humbled by your family's expectation of discipline and reflection. After a troll attacked your village and killed many of your kinsmen, you decided to find a new future for yourself. Still seeking your destiny, you have concluded that journeying is your goal. Together with a group of fellow adventurers, you have traveled to the Misty Vale to see what it has to offer. Archmage Aladdin. From an early age, you have been fascinated with fire. Your sorceress mother brought you to a school of magicians after you accidentally burned down a barn of the family farm. At school, you learned the secret of magic, but you thirst for deeper knowledge. But your thirst for deeper knowledge has made you restless. Now, a few years after extensive travel, you've joined a company of adventurers for an expedition through the Misty Vale. And then, yeah, it said there were 5 character sheets in here. So these are full color character sheets in here. Just one side. But nice character sheets. And then here are stand-ups. So I immediately see our heroes here. Here's that Archmage. Yeah, so the heroes are here. There's our Mallard Duck guy. Looks like we've got trolls and a bunch of other things. Dragons. Looks like some undead up here. All right, so let's take a look at let's go back to our fun Mallard and see what's on this character sheet. Look. So it says, okay, it says Ken Mallard, age adult, profession knight. So where are whacking the microphone with the bill of my hat? I'm not used to wearing hats. Our different professions here. Okay, the Bloodjaw was a fighter. We've got a thief. Kind of expected that based on the description. McCander is a knight. Orla Moonsilver is a hunter. And then the Archmaester here is a mage elementalist. Okay, so it says profession knight, but we have weakness here, foolhardy. You always go first into danger. Appearance is strong, sturdy, and stubborn, waddling walk, quick to anger when provoked, especially if someone insults your family or honor. You seldom smile. So we've got the classic Dungeons and Dragons stats here. We've got strength, con, well, we got agility, strength, con, agility, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And then we've got things beneath it here that say exhausted, sickly, dazed, angry, scared, or disheartened. Damage, I think this is damage bonus due to strength, damage bonus due to agility, movement 8, inventory, like I guess it says 8, so I guess we're going slot-based inventory. Abilities and spells, ill-tempered, webbed feet, and guardian, which is what we saw described on the other side of the page. So those are abilities and spells, gold, silver, copper, skills. Kind of similar to D&D. Well, kind of. Acrobatics, awareness, battering, beast lore, crafting, hunting, and fishing. These are things like 5, 7, 12, 10 for myths and legends, for instance. And we do have these based on an ability score. But we got weapon skills over here. Mike says, don't quack the knight off. You won't be able to duck his sword. So weapon skills. So, but we have weapon skills, which is not D&D like. We've got axes, bows, brawling, crossbows, hammers, knives, slings, spears, staves, and swords. All with numbers beside them, ranging from 5 to 14. It looks like, and these are also based on either strength or agility. It says memento: a fine pipe made of black horn, a gift from your father. Tiny items: flint and tinder. She's got torch and flint and tinder in the small pipe. It says he's wearing plate armor, but it says this is a bane on sneaking, evade, and acrobatics. He is not wearing a helmet, but we have the potential for the helmet to be bane on awareness or ranged attacks. We've got willpower points, 14, as well as hit points. So that looks like we've got two different kinds of damage here. Death rolls, weapons, and shields. Their stats include, okay, so we get like battle axe, grip one-handed, range 2, damage 2d8, durability 9. We have durability here. Features slashing and topping. Slashing, toppling. Toppling. Short sword, slashing and piercing. Small shield, bludgeoning. So the shield also has a damage factor here. So that is what we got a character with leather on. Studded leather. Okay, let's take a look at the main book. That's the adventure book. I'm going to say this could tie into a campaign. I think it did. This just notice this as over here that says this is the second printing over here. This is the second printing of this book, and it actually lists out what the changes were from the first printing, the second printing. Looks like things about like adjusting dice rolls or skill levels or something like that. So this is on our map. Okay. Oh, I forgot we have cards here. I like to look at cards. Okay, hey, let's open them up before we look at the book. What time is it? Oh yeah, we got plenty of time. Let's see what's inside the cards. I guess this is the back. Okay, this says adventure. We've got adventure cards. We've got treasure cards. All of these are treasure cards. Okay, so what's in adventure cards? So adventure card is like Fort Malice. Fort Malice was constructed by House Stone Oak near the end of the Emperor Eldane's reign to protect the family's most prized possession, the Malus aureus, a tree that bore golden fruit, apples of actual gold. The ruins of Fort Malice still stand in the far northwest, probably with thousands of golden apples lying at the root of the old tree. Like adventure hooks, maybe? Tower of Size. There is a disgusting bog about a day's march east of here. It's crawling with blood-sucking leeches and insects and is a hideout for bandits. But there's vast riches out there under the sludge, buried in the ruins of an ancient watchtower. People around here call it the Tower of Size. So that does look like adventurer hooks. Treasure. Clothing. Roll 1d3. Boots, cloaks, or fur. Oh, maybe so that's it. It's not boots right there. It says roll 1d3. Boots, cloak, or fur. Poison dagger. Roll for evade. If you fail, you cut yourself and to suffer a potency 12 poison. Roll D3 for the type, lethal, paralyzing, or sleeping. Book, roll D6 for the title. 1, Eat or Be Eaten, Plants of the Forest. 2, Grammar of the Dragon Tongue. 3, Ancient Heroes and Villains. 4, Handbook of the Master Carpenter. 5, Beasts of the Cave and Encyclopedia. 6, Blood, Phlegm, and Bile. Master your bodily fluids. Silver brooch. Gold bracelet. You roll for its value. Gold coins. Rolling for how many? Gold coins. Oh, more. Okay, more treasure. Right there, copper coins. Improvised weapons. Oh, lots of improvised weapons. It says improvised weapons, forest, improvised weapons, forest, improvised weapons, cave, improvised weapon inn, which is like grab a bottle or something. Chandelier, swing yourself from the chandelier and perform a melee attack. If you can normally move, you can take a normal movement action without triggering free attacks. The melee attack must be unarmed but cannot be dodged or parried. If the attack fails, you fall to the ground and take D6 bludgeoning damage. There we go, like wine bottles. Hit an enemy within 2 meters with the bottle. Requires 1 free hand. The attack hits automatically and inflicts 2d6 bludgeoning damage bonus, plus damage bonus. The attack can be dodged or parried. The enemy gets wine in their eyes, which stings so bad that it causes a bane on all actions until the next turn. Boiling cauldron. Improvised weapons in a cave. Stalagmite. Shove an enemy within 2 meters into a tall rock. Crevice. Bats. Make a bushcraft roll to agitate the bats and make them attack an enemy within 10 meters. Improvised weapon in the forest. Gnarled roots. Roll to trip the enemy. Page 48 in the rule book. If you succeed, the enemy must spend 1 action and make an acrobatics roll to get up. And then the rest are initiative cards. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. The number above decides the turn order. Draw a new initiative card each round. On your turn, you can move and perform 1 action. Flip this card when you have performed your action. So that kind of sounds like it's using a random initiative. Kind of like what I was doing. Okay, Dragonbane rules. Let's see what's in it. We got about a little bit more than 15 minutes. This is also a second printing, and it has some adjustments. It tells you what the adjustments were in there. What is in here? Chapter 1, In the Oldest Times. Chapter 2, Your Player Character. Chapter 3, Skills. Chapter 4, Combat and Damage. Chapter 5, Magic. Chapter 6, Gear. Chapter 7, Bestiary. Chapter 8, Adventurers. Let's see what preface is. Let's see what it says in the preface. Sitting by a fireplace in an old house by a lake in the woods, at dusk turned to night outside, listening intently to my older brother vividly describing the fierce orcs facing me, grabbing the strange and magical polyhedral dice, getting ready to fight or die. That's the earliest memory I can recollect of playing Darkor Orc Demoner, a game that was synonymous with role-playing games for a generation of Swedish kids. It was the summer of 1985, and little did I know what lasting impact that moment would have on my life. In spite of what the name might suggest, the origins of the game are found in the early Chaosium titles. Its very first edition in 1982 was a direct translation of Magic World. The game soon took a life of its own, evolving through a dozen various editions in Sweden over the decades. Now returning to a reimagined Darkor och Demoner to an international audience under the title Dragonbane, we had to ask ourselves, what is this game really? For us, many of the others in the Swedish role-playing community, Drakar och Demoner was a touchstone of our hobby and needed no definition or explanation. The rest of the role-playing world, this game was completely unknown. Our quest was to journey far and wide into 4 decades of Nordic role-playing history and find the essential elements of this game. What truly made it great, then to bring these pieces of legacy back to life and mold them into a new game for the 2020s, using 4 decades of evolution in game design and our own decade of creating free league RPGs. The end result is a fantasy role-playing game full of magic, mystery, and adventure, designed from the ground up to facilitate fast and furious play, with very little prep time and adventures that are a breeze to run. Through a toolbox allowing you to tell fantasy stories of all kinds, Dragonbane is a game with room for laughs at the table and even a pinch of silliness at times, while at the same time offering brutal challenges for the adventurers. We call this playstyle Mirth and Mayhem role-playing. Great for long-shot campaigns, but also perfect for one-shot. If you just want to have some quick fun at your table for a night, this is the next step in a journey that started almost 40 years ago. We are thrilled to have you along for the ride. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, it's kind of surprising to me too that the cards, the space in the rule book or the space given to the cards, a lot of them are improvised weapons. Andrew says that's a lot of improvised weapons. I like how the improv weapons require you to give it a place, which makes the places different, right? In the combat, all that they need to now is a subject for the full improv experience. So yeah, that's so I guess with style of play or whatever, that obviously that's important, an important thing to have. So that does give this a different feel. I had forgotten that it was like Nordic role playing. I had forgotten this. So let's see what it says here in order to kind of get the idea of the what we're doing here. It was the oldest times before the world was covered in forest and iron was tamed by dwarven masters, before the advent of humanity and the master of the bread and ale-making arts. The world was then ruled by dragons and demons. Yes, draconic serpents and demonic creatures were the princes and princesses of oldest times. They were the primordial forces through which the world and its primeval matters was formed. The sky, the mountains, and the fiery oceans of magma and unthinking life. They were opposing principles that made the world complete. Law and order versus chaos and madness, the stable and fixed versus the wild and eternally fluid. Dragons versus demons. The most ancient records tell of a draconic empire that once spanned much of the known world, where the emperor's peace was upheld by cruel dragon-mounted knights. But the text also contains traces of another great power from a different age, governed by demon princes who shrouded the world in madness and savage rage. Remnants of these realms still rest in the earth beneath our feet. In the depths of the great forest and chasms of the mountain slumbers memories from ancient eras when vicious beasts reigned. The hostility between dragons and demons have brought death and ruin upon the ancient civilizations. It seems almost like a fundamental law of nature that anything created by dragons alone is corrupted by demons, and anything born of draconic will is burned to ashes by dragon fire. However, this basic and incontrovertible truth has also given cause for hope, for it has created the conditions for other nations where humans and other races have been able to flourish and go their own way. But the ancient guardians of order and destruction will never leave the world to its fate. So long as night follows day, the time will come again when dragons and demons contend for power over humanity, nature, and the eternal mysteries. This says excerpt from Gold Mundag, the Elders' Imperial Chronicle of the Oldest Times and Their Remnants. What is going to make this game different? So we know like how to roll dice. It says if you want to try playing solo, look into Deepfall Breach. We don't have time to do that today, but we might do that. Measuring time. See you later, Dave. Okay, so this one does start with creating a character, which we often skip to find out how we actually play. But we do have, okay, so our professions include artisan, bard, fighter, hunter, knight, mage, mariner, merchant. Oh, there we go. Scholar, thief. Okay, and then our attributes: age, name, attributes, derived ratings, which include movement, damage bonus, hit points, and willpower points. So it says willpower points are used for magic, so that's not a different type of damage to take. It says willpower points are used for magic as well as innate and heroic abilities. Your maximum number of WP, willpower points, is equal to your will, but can be increased by heroic ability and focus. Heroic abilities. Heroic abilities are special abilities that give you specific advantages in the game. You'll find a range of heroic abilities described in the next chapter, and more can be added in future supplements. You start the game with one heroic ability determined by your profession. You can gain new heroic abilities during play. Note that some heroic abilities require minimum skill levels. Such requirements don't apply for your starting heroic ability. Okay, we have weakness. We saw weakness. So it says weakness. Your character is a capable individual risking their life and limb for honor, gold, and adventure. Yet even an adventurer has a weakness, the Achilles heel that can get you into trouble. You can roll or choose from the table below to choose your weakness freely. Your weakness adds depth and personality to your character, as well as can be used by the GM to create challenges for them. Role playing according to your weakness gives you an extra advancement mark at the end of a session. Things like faint-hearted, foolhardy, thin-skinned, slothful. It says mages. If you play a mage, you don't get any heroic ability at the start of the game. Your magic will make up for that disadvantage. You can earn new heroic abilities during play, just like any other profession, however. Gear. Memento is in this one of the boxes that's for, it says optional rules. Encumbrance. How are we doing encumbrance? We go on to skills next. Let's see. Encumbrance. You can carry a number of items equal to half your strength rounded up in your inventory without difficulty. Only items written down in your inventory box count towards your encumbrance. Weapons at hand. You may have up to 3 weapons at hand, which means they are able to be worn on your belt or otherwise readily available to use in combat. Weapons kept at hand are recorded under weapons in the character sheet and do not count towards your encumbrance. Shields count as weapons and are also recorded here. Helmets and armor worn on your body and recorded in retrospective sections and do not count towards your encumbrance. Food, up to 4 rations of food count toward 1 item in your encumbrance. Always record the number of rations you have left in your inventory. Torches and lanterns. A torch, lamp, or lantern is an item. The fire may go out. Lanterns could be refilled with oil. Arrows and sling stones. You do not have to count every arrow you are carrying. Instead, carrying a quiver of arrows counts as a single item. As long as you have the quiver, you can use your weapon. Sling stones do not need to be noted down at all. You are assumed to have enough of those. Backpack increases your carrying capacity by 2. It does not count towards your encumbrance, but you only carry 1 backpack at a time. Okay, so basically a slot-based inventory. Skills here. Oh, okay. So the symbols were obviously then demons and dragons. That's what was on the dice, demons and dragons. So skills, it says there are 30 core skills in the game, not counting secondary skills like schools of magic that are described later in the chapter. Each skill is connected to one of these attributes, which determines your base chance in the skill when you create your player character. When using a skill, first describe what your character is trying to achieve, then roll d20. A result that is lower than or equal to your skill level means your action succeeds. In combat, your skill rolls often have specific effects. Outside of combat, the GM or the adventure you're playing determines the effect. Rolling a dragon. Rolling 1 on a d20 means you are particularly successful. because we're rolling low. This is called rolling a dragon. In combat, a dragon roll has specific effects, increasing the damage of the attack. For instance, outside of combat, the GM decides the effect. Some suggestions: you impress everyone around you, you achieve more than intended, the action is performed faster than usual. On the other hand, rolling above your skill means that your action fails. For some reason, you did not achieve your goal. Feel free to describe what happens with the GM. The GM can also let failure have additional consequences to advance the story in an exciting way. No standstills. Failure must not stop the story completely. Even when you fail, there must be a way forward, perhaps at the cost of time, risk, or gold, but still a way. The GM has the final say on what the consequences of failure are. So rolling a demon, rolling a 20 on a d20 is called rolling a demon, and means that the roll fails regardless of your skill or other circumstances. Rolling a demon also means the roll cannot be pushed. An optional rule on page 32. Demon rolls can have additional effects in combat and during spell casting. Outside of combat, the GM can let demon rolls have effects such as you damage yourself, someone else, or an item. You make a fool out of yourself, or you make lots of noise. When no skill seems relevant to the situation, the GM can instruct you to roll against a base attribute instead, such as strength to lift something heavy. But if there's a skill that covers the action you wish to perform, you must roll based on that. You only have one chance to succeed within the action. Once you have rolled the dice, you may not roll again to achieve the same goal. You need to try something different, wait until the circumstances have changed in a substantial way, or let other player characters try. This rule does not apply in combat. Boons and Banes says, normally the GM does not assess how difficult an action is. You only roll dice in challenging situations, period. But sometimes the GM may want to underscore that external factors help or hinder an action. You might get a boon or a bane to your roll. In both cases, you roll 2 d20s, but the result, only one result counts. If you have a boon, only the lowest result applies. If you have a bane, only the highest result applies. There are also cases where the rules say you get a boon or bane. For example, attacking a prone opponent or shooting at long range. If you get multiple ones, you only count the lowest, highest result. However, please note that unless you have a very high skill, roll with multiple banes have a very low chance of success. They cancel each other out. Pushing your roll. If you fail on a skill or attribute roll, you may choose to push the roll. This is an optional rule. The new result applies, which means you make another attempt. The new result applies, whatever it is. If you have boons or banes, you must re-roll all dice. You can never push a demon roll, which is the natural 20. Whenever you push a roll, immediately after the re-roll, you suffer a condition. This means that you get a bane on all rolls for skills based on certain attributes and rolls against the attribute in question. Each attribute is linked to a certain condition. There are 6 different conditions. Okay, this is what we looked at underneath the ability scores. Exhausted, sickly, dazed, angry, scared, or disheartened. You decide which condition you get from pushing a roll with 2 important restrictions. You cannot choose a condition you already have. You must be able to explain how the condition resulted from the action you were trying to perform. The GM has the right to reject clearly unreasonable explanations. Once you have all 6 conditions, you may no longer push your rolls. In addition to their effects, conditions provide inspiration for role-playing. Mark condition on your character sheet. You can recover from a condition by resting. See the resting and stuff. Only player characters may push their rolls. We've got opposed rolls, the core skills. What is this? Oh, heroic abilities like assassin, backstabbing, fast healer, dragon slayer, disguise, deflect arrow, throwing arm, rounds and initiative. It says that the 10 initiative cards are numbered 1 to 10. Each player taking part in the conflict voluntarily or otherwise draws a random card at the beginning of each round. The GM draws for the NPCs. This is called drawing the initiative. The number on the card determines the order in which you act in the round. Number 1 acts first, number 2 acts second, and so forth until everyone has acted. Your place in the initiative order is called your turn. Place your initiative card by your character sheet so everyone can see the order in which the person acts. The GM puts the card or cards in front of them. Once all participants have had their turn, the round is over and a new round begins by drawing initiative again. You can draw a single card for groups. On your turn, you can choose to wait. This means you swap initiative cards and therefore places in the turn order with another creature whose turn comes after yours. You can swap cards with other player characters as well as NPCs, and they cannot refuse the trade. However, you cannot swap initiative cards with anyone who's already had their turn or with who themselves chose to wait earlier in the round. Some monsters have multiple turns in a single round and therefore draw multiple initiative cards. In that case, you decide which card you want as long as it comes after your current card in the initiative order. Monsters themselves never choose to wait. Mike asks, how do opposed rolls work in a roll under system? It's probably, I mean, like in GURPS, you know, if you roll let's guess. If one succeeds and one fails, the answer is obvious. If they both fail, it's probably whoever failed by the least. If they both succeed, it's probably whoever succeeded by the most. So opposed rolls, it says sometimes you must beat your enemy in an opposed roll to succeed with an action. This means that both you and your adversary roll dice. Opposed rolls are used sparingly in this game, and only when someone is actively opposing you. In combat, it only counts as an action for the active party. If your roll fails and your action fails as well, regardless of your opponent's roll. If your roll succeeds when your opponent fails, your action succeeds. If both you succeed with your rolls, if both of you succeed with your rolls, your action succeeds if the result of your roll is lower than or equal to your opponent's result. Oh no. So it's not based on skill. See, it makes sense to say whoever succeeded by the most or whoever failed by the most. But on the other hand, here this is saying if the result of your roll is lower than, this just looks like the. So why would you not consider skill? Well, I don't. Looks like I didn't. Yeah, for the kind of, because like if I've got a skill of 12 and you've got a skill of 8 and we both roll a 6, then I should win because I passed mine by more. But this just says the result of the roll is lower than or equal to. So if I've got a 12 and you've got an 8 and you roll a 6 and I roll a 4, then I win. Or if you roll a 4 and I roll a 6, then you win because your die roll is lower than me. At least that's my understanding there. What do other people think there? Pushed rolls. Opposed rolls can be pushed as well, but only if you are the active party. This can be done even after your opponent's roll. Open opposed rolls. The GM can also use opposed rolls in situations where there is no active party, rolling strength against strength to decide the outcome of an arm wrestling match. This is called an open opposed roll. Open opposed rolls are re-rolled if both parties fail, or if both succeed and get the same result. Both parties can push their rolls. Yeah, because it says, so if your roll fails, so there's not, yeah, because I guess I'm trying to get a result. I was trying to get, my way gets you a result always, who won. Because this says if your roll fails, your action fails as well, regardless of your opponent's roll. So there's no, oh, I failed by less, so I still win. Michael says badly worded, in my opinion. So Mike says that seems accurate, but I agree with Michael Connor. Yeah, that seems strange to me. Because the way that this used to be done in AD&D was also weird. I remember that coming up a long, long time ago when we were playing AD&D, and there was some type of opposed roll that needed to be like, how do we adjudicate this? And so I said what I just said right there, my way, which seems to make sense. But there was something weird about the way. Excuse me. There was something weird about how that was adjudicated in AD&D as well. So that didn't make sense. Yeah, an example or something. Mike says they need an example or something. And why do it that way? Why? Yeah. because that seems to be, and I was having a discussion last night where people, where yes, I tend to try to remove more of the randomness, and this opposed roll is based more on just rolling dice than the skills, it seems like. Weapon skills, I just saw. We've got different kinds of movement: dash, stand, crouch, leaping, door, enemies, free attack, sneak attack. To attack someone in melee, you generally must be within 2 meters of your target. On the grid map, you need to be positioned in a square adjacent to the enemy. When attacking in close combat, use the skill that covers the type of weapon that you are wielding. If the attack hits, your weapon determines which dice you should roll to see how much damage you inflict on the enemy. The damage can be increased by your damage bonus and a dragon roll, and decreased by armor. The damage bonus is determined by your score and the attribute to which the weapon skill is based, either agility or strength. Weapons, you can have up to 3 at hand, we said. Some weapons have a strength requirement. We have handed limitations. Strength requirement of a one-handed weapon decreases by 3 if you hold it in both hands. Long weapons extend reach. Critical hits. So by rolling a dragon when you attack, you score a critical hit. This means the dragon roll is required to parry or dodge the attack, and you may choose one of the following effects. So choose one. Roll double amount of dice for the weapon's damage before adding any damage bonus or other bonuses. For example, if you get a critical hit with a broadsword, damage 2d6, and you have a damage bonus of d4, your damage is 4d6 plus d4. Or you can immediately perform a second attack against another enemy. This additional attack is a free action. Or armor has no effect against the attack, as it finds a gap or weak spot. This effect can only be chosen if the attack deals piercing damage, as an optional rule below. Which is an optional rule below. So damage types, it says there are 3 types of damage: slashing, piercing, and bludgeoning. The damage types of various weapons are listed on the weapon tables in Chapter 6. Some weapons, such as swords, can inflict both slashing damage and piercing damage. You must state whether you stab or slash before rolling the dice. The damage type influences the effectiveness of armor, and monsters can be resistant to certain types of damage. Demon rolls in melee. If you roll a demon when attacking in melee combat, you miss your target and cannot push the roll. You might also suffer an additional mishap. Roll on the table below. If the result is unreasonable, the GM decides the effect. Like your weapon cuts so deep into an object that it gets stuck. So basically, you do have a fumble here. You hit yourself by mistake, which you're going to do 5% of the time. Yeah, that's what I say, especially as if you're trying what Michael says right here. Just because I do something badly doesn't necessarily mean I failed, especially when the opponent does the counter worse. Yeah, that's, and especially if you want to be able to get a result from that roll, which to me would be the result, I mean, from the game design perspective, that, okay, we're going to do this opposed roll, and at the end of this, we're going to need some adjudication of whether, I mean, I guess that, well, there was something about the open roll, but yeah, I agree. I'm sneaking, but ineffectively, the guard isn't paying attention and misses me slipping. Yeah, because the guard is doing worse than you are. But on the other hand, I guess the idea is that it makes the active player's role matter more. If you fail it, then there's no need for your opponent to roll their opposed counter, because you failed in doing what you were trying to do. It says parrying. When hit by an attack in close combat, you can choose to parry the attack with a drawn weapon or shield. Note that you cannot draw a weapon to parry, as free actions can only be performed on your turn. You must declare that you're going to parry before the attacker rolls for damage. You cannot parry unarmed. It's also impossible for both parry and dodge the same attack. You can parry while prone. When parrying, you roll against your skill level for the weapon. So what does that do if you parry? Parrying is a reaction as it breaks the initiative roll. It replaces your regular turn. Oh, it replaces your regular turn, and you must immediately flip your initiative card. This means you cannot parry if you've already had your turn this round. But see the heroic ability defensive. Durability. If your parry succeeds, the enemy's attack hits your weapon or shield, and you suffer no damage. However, if the damage exceeds your weapon's durability, the weapon is damaged and cannot be used until it's repaired. So that's what the durability is. Well, that's interesting. Well, I like a lot of roll under too, and that comes from playing GURPS, the roll under systems. So many things have gone to the roll high with the bonus system, but I do think also I agree that roll under has advantages. There are also some disadvantages, but so that was what durability was. So well, wherever it was. So I guess you don't use that if you're attacking, but if you choose to parry, you have to give up your turns. Kind of like using the defense in Nimble, right? Oh, see you later. You're out of here. We're about to be done here. Stray says, "Thanks for the midweek update, Heath. This was fun. Have fun at the pumpkin patch. Don't feed the racers." Right, I won't. Well, actually, they get wine. This is at the winery, so after you run this 5K race, you get a glass of wine for those who want that. So shield, if you have your shield drawn, you can parry with it instead of your weapon. There's no skill for shields. Instead, you can use any strength-based melee skill, any of them except knives and staves, to parry with the shield. Piercing damage. Piercing attacks can never damage a parrying weapon or shield. Monsters. As a rule, monster attacks cannot be parried unless otherwise specified. When successfully parrying an attack, you can move yourself and the enemy 2 meters, 1 square in any direction. This movement follows the usual rules, but does not count toward anyone's movement in the round and triggers no free attacks from anyone. Rolling a dragon when parrying. If you roll a dragon when parrying, so we do have this game has this interesting active combat part of this. I like the drawing for initiative. It's a little bit different from how I was doing it, but I do like that. Rolling a dragon when parrying. If you roll a dragon, it's probably easier mechanically than what I was doing. If you roll a dragon when parrying, you immediately perform a counterattack on your opponent, an automatic hit with your weapon that cannot be dodged or parried. This does not apply if the attacker rolled a dragon as well. In that case, you need a dragon just to parry and did not get to counterattack. As an alternative to parrying, you can try to dodge when hit by an attack. You cannot parry or dodge the same attack. You must choose one or the other. You can dodge while prone. You must declare that you are dodging before your opponent rolls for damage. So you can say, "I hit. Do you defend?" You must declare that you are dodging. Okay, roll for evade. On success, you evade the attack and take no damage. On a failure, you are hit by the attack. It is a reaction, and light parrying requires that you have not already had your turn this round. Once you have dodged, you flip your turn is over, and you must flip your initiative card. After a dodge, you may move up to 2 meters in any direction. I do like the rules about moving after the dodge to keep the battle more fluid. Because a problem with a lot of these sometimes is that the characters like on the grid just get trapped once they make contact with an enemy. There's no more like movement on the battlefield. I like the flow, and like when GURPS, you can give ground to increase your damage or increase the probability that you're going to dodge. And that keeps the battlefield on the, looking fluid. So I do like that here. TSL Frontman says, "Good review, but my brain still can't accept the roll under any more than it could accept people walking on their hands without gawking at them too." It depends on what you want on the character sheet. And I think that the bonus does rolling high with a bonus takes care of both of those things. Because if you're rolling over in a roll over system, yeah, your die roll is going to be high. Hey, I want to roll this die as high as I can, but that means your skill on your character sheet is going to be low. Like if I'm rolling d20s, right? Then and the skill is 5. So a skill of 5 is going to be really good because I have to roll a 5 or over in order to succeed. So, what do you want? Do you want to be able to say, I've got to roll this die high, or do I want the skills on my character sheet to be high, like good skills on my character sheet to be high? Because here, when you're looking at your character sheet, the things that are higher, you're better in. But then you got to roll equal to or under that number. So 15 would be good in the roll under system. I think that's probably one reason why the bonus system is popular now, because that gives you, because then you're doing both. You are trying to roll high on the die, and the higher numbers on your character sheet mean you're better at things. So, if I'm +3 in this and I'm +7 in that, I'm clearly better at the +7 thing, and I'm still trying to roll high on the dice. Michael said I did like the 5-foot step from 3E. This game has generated some conversation. As a rule, monster attacks can be dodged unless otherwise specified. So the monstrous attacks can't be parried, but can be dodged. Oh, that was toppling. That was the type of thing that was in with the range. Special attacks. In addition to simply trying to hit your enemy, there are a few special attacks you can use in melee combat. You must always declare that you are using a special attack before rolling the attack. Several special attacks are resolved by opposing skill rolls. When rolling for an NPC without the skill in question, the GM rolls against the default skill level of 5. Find a weaker spot. If your weapon is piercing, you can try to find a gap in your enemy's armor and natural armor. You get a bane to the attack, but if it hits, the enemy counts as armorless. Topple. You try to topple an enemy to the ground instead of inflicting damage. This is handled with an opposing roll between your skill level and your weapon, and you're using and the enemy's evade. If your weapon has the toppling feature, you get a boon. The toppling feature, you get a boon. The attack counts as an action for you, but not your opponent. An effective way of using this special attack is to work together with another person. If you topple the opponent, your friend can attack the prone enemy before they can get up. We have a disarming attack and a grappling attack. Ranged combat. If you roll a demon when you're performing a ranged attack, you cannot push the roll, and you've got a little table here to roll on. Critical hits. How does armor work? Let's look at armor and death. I guess we're just kind of going through a lot of this here. It says armor. When wearing leather, chainmail, or plate armor, can protect your body from damage. Equipping or unequipping armor counts as an action in combat. The armor you are wearing should be written down in the armor section on your character sheet and does not count towards your encumbrance. You can only wear one suit of armor at a time. Some armors can give you a bane on certain skill rolls or restrict your movement. Armor rating. An armor's effectiveness is determined by its armor rating. When you take damage from a physical attack, subtract the armor rating from the damage. If the attack from the melee attack is completely negated, the attacking weapon itself suffers the damage instead, which might break the weapon. Oh, so it can break on your turn with the attack. If the armor completely negates the damage from the attack, the weapon takes the damage, and could break. See durability on page 46. Helmets. Your armor can be combined with a helmet, which can further increase your armor rating. Equipping or unequipping a helmet counts as an action. Helmets can also give you a bane when using certain skills. Death. When you reach 0 HP, you drop to the ground and risk dying. You start making death rolls against your con. The death roll cannot be pushed. Record the result of your death roll on your character sheet. After 3 successful death rolls, you recover D6 HP and stop making death rolls. After 3 failed death rolls, your player character dies. Rolling a dragon counts as 2 successful death rolls. Rolling a demon counts as 2 failures. If the combat ends, keep counting rounds until all the death rolls have been made. Any failed rolls are reset if you survive. If you suffer additional damage at 0, it counts as a failed death save. Another player character within 10 meters can, earshot, can persuade you to rally and keep fighting despite having 0 HP. This counts as an action. If you rally, you can continue acting as normal, but must keep making death rolls as above. You can even try to rally yourself, rolling against your will with a Bane instead of persuasion. We do have damage types versus armor in here. If the optional rule for damage types is used, leather and studded leather gains +2 to their armor rating against bludgeoning weapons. Chainmail gets +2 bonus to its armor rating against slashing damage. If the damage type is not stated, the armor has its normal effect. If you have 0 HP, you can also get a healing roll. Without bandages, get a bane to the roll. This counts as an action. Multiple attempts are allowed. If the roll succeeds, stop making death rolls and recover D6 HP. Magic can also save you. Okay, well, we got the magic and the bestiary. Or bestiary, right? I think I saw Michael talking about that. Yeah, because it's bestiary, but hey, bestiary would work too. Goblin, Griffin. Okay, well, all right. I've got to go. There are things to be done today. I think that you probably also have things to do. So I'm going to get out of here. This was fun, though. I've been meaning to take a look at this one for a while. So I am out of here for now. I will talk to everybody later. Have a wonderful day. Go forth, be creative, and be constructive. And I'll post in the Discord server if I get some books. And then we'll look at those, figure out when we're going to look at those. Okay, bye, everybody.